Hey guys, welcome to the video. Just making a quick video to talk about my DraftKings strategy. I made two lineups. This is the lineup I made yesterday, and this is the lineup I have tonight. Used two different strategies to make each of these lineups, but I'm going to be talking about this one today, and then when these slate of games ends tonight, I'll make another video tomorrow discussing the way I picked the players for this lineup, and we're gonna make this into a two-part mini series. So the first lineup, this is the lineup we're gonna be focusing on today. The strategy I used for this lineup is to buy three very high-priced players and then kind of get lower value picks for the rest of my lineup. So if you don't know how DraftKings works, quite simply, you start off with 50,000 points. Each player has a different point value ranging from 3 to about 10,500 points. And then you have to construct a lineup with 50,000 points or less. The remaining salary is 0, which means I use the full 50,000 points to construct this lineup. You do not have to, but I chose to in both my lineups. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to start with my highest paid player, Anthony Davis, coming in at a price tag of 9,500 points. I kind of rolled the dice with Anthony Davis because A, he has a high minutes per game. Minutes per game is important because if they're not on the court, they cannot score points, simply put. So in his last 10 games, he gets 35 minutes per game. I like to have guys who play at least close to 30. He plays 35 minutes per game. So, there you go. That's the first thing. Field goals made versus field goals attempted, 60 for 114, 52% from the field. That's a very high number. If you could shoot around 40% from the field, that's a pretty safe pickup. 1 for 11 from three-pointers, but he's a center. Centers don't really take that many shots from three-point range. That number didn't really bother me because he's not going to be taking a lot of threes. 17 for 25 from the free throw line. That's 68%. That's a very good number. So yeah, all in all, he totals about 30 points per game. 53.7 fantasy points per game. On this given night, he gave me 63. So he pretty much, for 9,500, bought in high. He scored very high. So that was a pretty good play for me. Anthony Davis is always a pretty good play for me. Next highest is Jimmy Butler. He's right in that 30 to 40 minute per game range. 42% from the field. Very good. That's a good number. Good round number to have. 7 from 16 from 3, so that's 43%. If you could be around 30% from 3, that's a good round number. 93% from the free throw line. That is the number that sold me on taking Jimmy Butler. That was crucial. He gets to the line a lot, and he makes his free throws. Very important number. That percentage, for 9,000, roll the dice. He averages about 43.5 fantasy points per game. On this day, Jimmy Butler gave me 53 points. And yeah, so again, really good Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, really good plays for me. I bought them high, but they scored high. So in the end, it worked out. Jeff Teague, priced at 7,100. He's just above the 30-minute points per game. He plays 31 minutes, which kind of, made me a little skeptical about this pick. But 33% from the field, he is, right around 30%, which is what I like. If he was under 30% from the field, probably don't make this pickup for this price. 23% from three-point range. Again, kind of low, but for the price tag, not too bad. 14 from 15 from the free throw line. He's been getting to the free throw line a lot, making 93% of his free throws. That's a very good number. If he could make, 14 of 15 from the line, that's good. So, you know what? I picked him up. He averages about 35.7 fantasy points per game. He gave me 30. I would have liked that number to be a little higher, but it wasn't awful. I think there was better picks to be made, but not too bad for the price tag. What I usually like to do is, if he's priced at 7,000 points, you want to multiply that number by 4. So if it's 7,000, you multiply by 4. You should expect, if you're going to pay 7,000, he should put up at least 28 points, which he did. Jimmy Butler, priced at 9,000, multiply that by the 9 by 4. I should expect him to put up at least 36 points. Way over. Anthony Davis, same thing. So you get the point. Now we're going to look at, so if you look at the total amount of points paid for these three players, that comes out to about 25,600 points. When you have a total of 50,000 points, that's a little over half spent on these three players. But they put up 146, and 146 is well over half of the 253 fantasy points that I scored. So with these three players, I spent half my points on them, but they scored half my fantasy points. So when you look at it that way, it worked out. Now we're going to look at some of the lower price guys that I have that also worked out on my team. You have Herman Gomez, priced at 6,000. He put up 26. So again, if I'm going to pay 6,000 points, I should expect him to put up 24, which he did. He met his value. 27 minutes per game, that's right where I want it. Only 23, 52% from the field, that's a very good number. That's the number that really sold me. 11 from 21 from the field, awesome. 88% from the free throw line, awesome. Although he doesn't get to the line a lot, but when he does, he makes his shots. So Herman Gomez for 6,500. In this instance, it works. We're going to look at Trevor Ariza. for 5,000 points. I picked him up 31 minutes per game, only 32% from the field. That's not an awful number, but it could be higher. And 33% from three. Made 100% of his free throws. Again, 6 for getting to the free throw line 6 times isn't a lot, but once he gets there, it's good. Now we're going to look at Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert was kind of a desperation pick for me because I didn't have a lot of points to spend, so I had to look at the lower end guys. 3,400 is pretty much about as low as it will get. But he put up 15. So when you draft a guy at 3,400, 15 isn't that bad if you just remember the rule of 4. So if you buy a guy priced at 300, you don't really expect him to put up more than 20. 253. I like to say 250 is the magic number. 250 points will win you most 50-50 leagues that you play in. It will win you money in most 50-50 leagues that you play in. That's what I play in. This was just a free league that I joined to experiment with different lineups. So yeah, that is the first strategy. Obviously, the risk in this strategy is if you buy a high-placed player and they tank, it's going to hurt your team. A lot of coaches like to rest players, especially late in the season. So you got to watch out, make sure that you're not choosing a guy that a coach is going to rest for a certain game. But this first strategy, this is what I use about 90% of the time when I put in a lineup. You could use this lineup for any sport. I just wanted to use basketball because it's in the mix of the basketball season. So yeah, that's the strategy I use. That's the first strategy I use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.